Welcome! I'm Bailey Rivera, and today I am finally jumping into making my 2023 planner. I've been so excited to start this project after analyzing what worked and what I could improve on for my first planner in 2022. If you'd like a peek into that one, it's linked below. This video is going through my yearly setup for 2023. Because I use my planner for lots of memory keeping and journaling, I actually have quite a bit of setup prior to starting my months. Because of this, I'm going to plan on splitting this 2023 setup into two separate parts. I've tried to organize this year's planner a bit better than the one I had made in 2022 so that I end up utilizing more and have less flipping around as I fill it in during the year. Before I started making my planner, I took my list of spreads and layouts that I had made after analyzing my previous planner, and I lightly penciled the names of each onto each page in my new planner to make sure that I had enough pages and also that I liked the flow. Once that was done, I was ready to start creating. Gosh, the first page is always the hardest, absolute hardest of any journal or planner. That's not just me, right? I was fully prepared just to skip it and go back because that's what I normally do. But at the last minute, inspiration struck, and I was really excited to actually get started once I had an idea for this page. So I decided that my overall overarching theme for this design this year was going to be a greenhouse. I have been dreaming of owning a greenhouse and I've been researching them and how to grow plants in them. So that felt really right. And I had opened up this page and all of a sudden, where these little lines are at the bottom, I just saw the base kind of a greenhouse. So once I had that idea, I was able to just kind of get started and diving in. So you can see how I penciled out the shape of the greenhouse, and then I started using some of my washi stickers to add greenery within the greenhouse structure. And then I started going over my pencil lines with black for the frame of the greenhouse, and from there I just started drawing it in. To write on top of the actual stickers, I ended up using like a permanent marker, which I don't typically use in my planner, but needed or you would need if you wanted to write on top of washi and not have it smear off. So I used, for the base, I started using washi tape and trimming it neatly with my craft knife, and I really like how this is shaping up for my cover page. I think it's really inspiring and kind of fits the aesthetics of where I want to go this year. With focusing on, gardening and growing more food. Using ephemera that I have and stickers, I just started kind of decorating around the greenhouse structure. And you can see I also added a 2023 for the title page, and the little gray sort of ticket thing. I will write my name in, and then I will also write my address and my phone number just in case I ever misplace the planner. And then you can see that I'm using my stamps that are part of my toolkit. If you want to see more about what's in my toolkit, you can watch that video and we'll link that as well. So I'm just stamping down vertically. My favorite part of making something like this is the style that I use is really loose and imperfect. And whereas typically in my work as a calligrapher and an illumination, I am striving to be extremely precise and perfect. And with this, if it's not centered, if there's a little bit of stamp ink or, a letter that's kind of wonky, I don't really care, and I can just let that roll off. And I really, really like that about this whole process of making a planner. It just kind of gives me creative freedom in a way that a lot of the other artwork that I make doesn't. So I'm just finishing up here with a sticker, a couple of different stickers, a rub-on sticker, and just kind of using my different things to fill out the space so that there's a nice balance of white space as well as filled in space with things that are inspiring. So after the cover page, one thing that I had stumbled across in a video and was really excited to add this year to the front was a front pocket. So you have the pocket in the back, but I thought it would be also nice to have a pocket in the front in this kind of weird section where there's a lot of table of contents and stuff and areas that I don't typically utilize. So I decided to make this on this page. So starting, I cut off the top sort of third of the page and had a little tab there that I made with a circle template. And I really, really carefully, using my craft knife, cut that out and off. And then the bottom piece I'm using as a small bottom pocket. So I flipped it over and lining it up there. So I thought that this was a really cool idea because this page is not typically utilized for anything. I mean, you could decorate it or put art on it or something, but I thought that this could be a really cool option, especially since I have a daughter that's small and we get school schedules and she comes home with little pieces of art and things that I like to collect in my planner. So I'm taping first using the permanent adhesive Mono Air by Tombow. I am taping down that page that I cut, and then I actually am also incorporating, kind of going along with the garden theme, some very old, I think from the early 80s, seed packets that my mom brought from my grandmother's house when they were preparing to sell it and kind of going through all of her belongings. And I thought that that was just a really great way to keep a little bit of her with me, as well as, I'm very passionate about gardening. And so it also fit my theme for this year. So I thought, what a cool way to incorporate those. And I also would like to I have quite a few more of them. So I would like to do more of that as I progress through making my planner. For some stability, I'm also adding washi tape to the little tab, and you can see where I'm cutting around the piece of washi tape. I just put a scrap piece of paper behind it, and that way it doesn't stick to my seed packets and make a huge mess. And then now I am doing kind of reverse thing for the bottom pocket where I put down a piece of washi tape, and then now I am going to use the adhesive and tape on the small bottom pocket. I decided to also add some stickers and ephemera to this page to kind of decorate the pockets even more, and use some of the fun stickers and everything that I have kind of within this gardening seeds farmers market theme. So everything has a bit of that vibe to it on this pocket page, which I love. Whenever I have a sticker that runs off the page, I just use my craft knife to carefully trim that away. And overall, I'm super, super happy with this. And I think that it is one of those projects within a planner that utilizes something that I would typically just be a blank page, and makes it something both useful and beautiful. One of my favorite parts of making my own planner is this sort of setup thing, and including all of these pages that can inspire me to reflect and can inspire me to actually like journal and keep that all in one place. So like in 2022, I am starting my journal, the first page, that has the dots on it, with a word of the year. This year, my word is wellness, and you can see that I did like a light pencil sketch prior to like diving into this, so that I kind of had I had an idea of where I was going to go. And I first lightened it up with an eraser so that I could draw on top of it. And then with a couple of different greens of Tombow marker, I added in some leaves. And now you can see I'm just kind of adding in washi stickers and rub-on stickers, and piecing in again another little greenhouse, carrying the theme, continuing that from my cover page. So I'm just doing my best to fill that in, and I do have very lightly penciled the word wellness in there, the word of the year. So I know kind of where I place these things. I'm working around that, even if it's a little bit hard to see on the video. Many greenhouses have little, they're called cold frames, and they sit outside the greenhouse, and you can grow things in them a little bit earlier as well. It's just kind of a design feature. So I decided on this one, it would be really cute to add those little cold frames and then draw in some vegetables. So I have some carrots on the left and a little cabbage on the right, and I think it turned out really cute. So once all of that was done and filled in, I just started using my Micron pen. I think probably the 01 to outline everything and start actually setting in the final lines for the greenhouse design here. Once the framework for the greenhouse was done, I started tracing over the letters that I had lightly penciled in prior to starting the page. So I switched to a little bit thicker pen because it wasn't the small micron wasn't showing up. So I'm using the calligraphy brush pen to just letter those into the design. I am adding one of my favorite washi tapes, which has strawberries on it, down below, keeping with that sort of early spring sort of greenhousey theme. And obviously, as like a gardener, I truly believe that food is medicine, and I feel like bringing that and really meditating on what that looks like for me and my family in the coming year is going to be a key to this year. 2022 turned out to be one that we struggled with a bit health-wise, and I'm just really excited to have a fresh start and sort of imagine what it could look like to change a few things up health-wise. I decided the sky needed some cute clouds, and so I drew those in with a pencil before adding a little bit of color to the bottom of them with my Tombow light green marker, and eventually finally using the micron to edge them. And I am really happy with the way that this layout is shaping up. I tend to take the time doing these layouts to really meditate on what I'm doing and what I want to journal about. You can see under the washi, I actually added the word wellness again and the definition of that. like what it says in the dictionary, in order to have a launching place for my own journaling about what it might mean to me and my family this year, bringing it in as the word of the year. Using my micron again, I decided to thicken up the word wellness so that it stands out because of all of the busyness of all of the plants within the greenhouse structure. I felt like it was getting a bit lost, so that was just done to the thick areas of the letters with a small micron pen. And then I am just kind of diving into journaling about this word and what I hope that it means for the coming year. So the first thing I do when I'm thinking about my word of the year are add some keywords that wellness means to me, like movement and cooking and herbs and nature and slow living and gardening and all of those kinds of things, stillness and, whatever comes to me for that word. And then to finish out the page, I am adding, this is my absolute favorite thing to do, I feel like in these journals, but adding a light colored Tombow brush, the brush side, and making lines down the dot areas, or like last year, the graph area. And I'm just making columns with that so that I give my page a finished look, but also set up a place for me to like do my journaling and writing about the word. For my next spread, I am going to prep my 2022 reflection journal page. I did something like this in my 2022 planner regarding 2021, and I really enjoyed taking some time at the end of the year and beginning of the new year to look back and sort of set some intentions. It just helped me set intentions for the year ahead, and also helped me appreciate what 2021 held. So I wanted to actually expand that into a full spread for this planner, and I started by lettering 2022 looking back, and then adding some lines with my brush pen, and then I'm just making myself spaces for areas to write. So I am using similar things that I did in my last planner, like wins and as well as like some of the favorite things that we did in the year. And it's just a nice way to reflect back and see how the whole year went and appreciate those things that did go well. So I've found when I'm making these spreads that just even creating space, even if I don't know what I want to put in it yet, it helps me when I'm using the spread to just journal. In the middle section, I have projects that I made, so I will reflect back on all of the things that I made this year. And I feel like seeing all of these things in one place is just a really cool thing. And the other thing that I thought was really fun that I added last year was that bottom box. It will be a journaling about what we did on the last day of 2022. So at that point, I will say how we spent our time, maybe what we made, maybe what we did. And then on the opposite side, I decided to use some of my beautiful stationery and to make a spread about a letter to my future self. So again, at the end of the year, beginning of next year, I'm planning to write myself a letter to open the next year at the end of the year. And I thought that would be a really cool thing to look back on and to read after the year 2023 is done. So I added Dear Future Self, and I added another little box and just decorated with a few little ephemera things, and will fill that in sort of as I see fit once I start filling in and journaling about this page. Sometimes it's quotes or really anything else overflow from the page previous. So I'm excited to jump into this page as, we wind down the year here very, very soon. For my next spread that I'm adding, it's again another one I'm expanding from my previous planner, which is a Welcome 2023 page. And for this page, I am laying it out, again, quite simply, so that I'm just setting myself up in order to be able to journal about my intentions and aspirations for the new year. So I also am adding, like I did on the 2022 last day of the year, I'm adding a journaling prompt for myself at the bottom that says, on the first day of 2023, and then I'll sort of make note of what I did, what I cooked, what our family did, and how we spent and welcomed in the new year. So I'm just adding boxes above that to enclose things like what I want to make and what my intentions are for the new year, goals, things like that. And so having those spaces again really helps me set myself up just to prompt myself for these different journaling things. And I really found that last year this worked well for me, just leaving spaces for myself in order to fill them in a future date. So I used the Micron to fill in those boxes, and then I'm using some stickers to decorate within this sort of light pink, light purple calming theme for this spread. For the facing page, I am adding something that I actually had in my 2022 planner as well, which is my year in pixels, and it's sort of a year-long tracker for mood, health. It could be whatever you want it to be. And because of the complexity of the the design sort of, and having to box it in, I did do quite a bit of laying out the spread in pencil prior to just diving in, whereas on a more simple spread like you've seen, I just kind of dive in and wing it. So for this one, you can see that the 12 months are along the top, and then there's 31 down the left-hand side. And then at the bottom, you just kind of draw in the amount of days each month has. So that kind of bar graph looking thing at the bottom. And then on the side, I did a key, which is where I will put in the boxes for the colors and codes that I intend to use this year for my year in pixels. This was something that I did not keep up with consistently through the year. However, I did find myself using it to track certain health things. So I wanted to include it because I knew it's important, even if I don't keep up with the actual coloring in and daily mood thing. So anyway, and then because there's room on this page as well, I decided to add a column just of things to maybe remember, so a place for those to land as they happen. And then I saw this really cool kind of then and now concept thing on Joshi Corin's channel. And so you essentially have the arrow in the middle and you write down different categories like book or project or weight or whatever you might want to put, and then you record about that thing. So like the book you were reading when January 1st came, and then you'll reflect on December 31st of 2023, you'll reflect on what book you're reading then. So I thought that that would be a really cool kind of easy way to capture certain moments in time. And for all of the sort of lines, I'm just using the brush end of my Tombow marker, which is an overarching theme that I like to include in my planner. I think it looks really nice, and it makes the design actually go quite quickly. So to finish, I just sort of added some stickers, and I am really pleased with how clean and lovely this spread is, and I'm very much looking forward to using it. Thank you so much for joining me today as I started working through my 2023 planner. I hope you found it helpful and that maybe you picked up an idea or two that you want to include in your own planner this year. If so, definitely let me know down in the comments below. I'll be back really soon with part 2 of the yearly setup, and I hope I see you there. Bye!